So 12 years in prison, straight, from 17 to 29 years old. If you just tapping in, I'm dropping a playlist series titled My Journey, and I'm basically explaining to y'all the journey I had from my teenage years up to my 12-year prison sentence, up to my life right now. This is part 7, I believe. So feel free to go back and watch the other videos. I'm telling it in it's a story. It's a long version of story time. So we're going to pick up where we left off, which is me getting transferred from minors to adult custody, coming out the hole and going to a general population. So I'm asking my cellie about, like, before I leave, I'm like, what to expect, this and that, whatever. And, he basically breaks it down to me, and it's like, at this point, you're about to go to general population, and sometimes shit could be a little wild. He was explaining to me, like, the politics. He was explaining to me the racial segregation, how it works. And the main thing he was telling me was, like, look, you can't sell up with anybody that's not black. Really, no one that's not black can sell up with you. So if they try to put you in a cell with someone that's not black, bro, like, don't let them. And if that does happen, y'all might have to just catch the fade for the cell or whatever. Because, that's just what it is. You don't want to sleep in there with them. You can't trust them. So I'm like, all right, bet. And this other dude had pulled up. He was from the same part of town as me. And, he's a reputable dude from his set. And he was pretty much explaining the same thing to me. I was listening more to him than I was my cellie at the time, because I could kind of tell my cellie at the time was like a goofball. You know what I'm saying? So I'm more listening to this dude, but he's telling me the same thing. So they ended up transferring me, like, late at night. And they put me in, so they're walking me up to where I'm going. I'm with a couple of other people. So, I'm just listening to what they telling me. So they like, look, you better make sure you tell the police not to put you in a cell with nobody that ain't black. I'm like, shit, all right, so shit. That's what I'm gonna. So we get to where we going, and so the police is telling us where we going. I'm like, hey, my cellie black. He's like, what? I'm like, my cellie black. Like, who's like, what race you finna put me in with? I don't want to be with nobody that's not black. And I forget what he said, but he was pretty much like I don't think he was really listening, like trying to, like, he was like, whatever. I'm like, all right. Because they told me what to do. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. Bet. So I ended up going to my cell, right? And my cellie was black. And so I go in there. I put myself on the top bunk. My cellie in there sleep. It's late at night. But when I go in there, he kind of wakes up. And but he don't get out of bed. He's like, what's up with you, bro? Woo, woo. My name's so-and-so, this and that, this and that. So he starts chopping up for probably about like 5 minutes. And then I jump off the bunk, and I'm like, bro, I know you used to be over here with Woo. He's like, yeah, that was. So I ended up knowing my cellie from the street. So when I used to hang out in these apartments back in the day, Coconut Groves, if you know. And I knew my cellie from over there, you know what I mean? So it was cool. I was like, damn, it felt like, a little bit of sense of relief, because we weren't like best friends or nothing, but it's just cool that I knew him, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, so so the next day, so we ended up chopping it up and stuff like that. He's explaining to me like prison or jail. He been in the yard. He only did like a year some change. And then he brings up like hooch and stuff. Tells me how you can make hooch out of fruits and shit. And I'm like, nigga, if you turn them 4 oranges and that pack of jelly into some alcohol, you can smack the shit out of me, nigga. Cause I'm like, it just ain't making sense at the time. You know what I mean? So I end up going to sleep. I go to sleep, and shit. The next day, I wake up, and the doors are already open. Like, I overslept, you know what I mean? The doors are already open. I jump down, and I come on my cell, and I instantly feel something. I instantly feel something's not right. I'm like, what the? So I look around, and it's pretty easy to see. I see the grouping. Like, the black is over here, everybody else up over here. But they're kind of like there'll be like a group of, like, one race will be right here, one race will be right here. But the blacks is over there with their back to the wall. So I'm like, I had to make a sandwich too. So I had a sandwich in my hand, a peanut butter sandwich. Maricopa County, no joke. So I'm like, what the? So I head over there with them, because I don't know what's going on. I'm like, Oh no. First, I come out, and before I go over there and I kind of peep game, there's just this other dude, a black dude, and he was talking to my cellie about something. Then they come into the cell, and I'm like, what's good? And he's like, bro, you ain't hear all that right now? I'm like, hear what? So my cellie had got into it with somebody, like right next door. You know what I'm saying? Because he had killed his homie. So I slept through the whole thing. And it's loud. I don't know how I slept through the whole thing. And so I'm like, oh, okay. So, you know, I put my little food up. I go downstairs with everybody else. And, you know, I'm just meeting everybody else because they're like, oh, what's up with you? You know, I'm the youngest person in the pod. You know what I mean? Little baby face. And they're like, oh, what's good? What's good? I'm like, what's up, buddy? Woo, this and that. And they're like, where you from? I tell them where I'm from, tell them my name. And ask them what I'm in there for. I tell them what I'm in there for, what I'm facing. And they're like, damn. Like, you know, tough luck type shit. And it's like, yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? So end up not being nothing. And then so when you come in there, like what they'll do, the older people, what they're supposed to do is like they'll kind of like lace you. They'll kind of like put you up on game of like how shit is ran, how to move respectably. That's what they're supposed to do. But the one thing that people don't understand, and I try to get this through people's heads when they're young, like if you a clown right now, you're not going to magically turn into somebody that's respectable. Y'all all seen old clowns. An old clown was a young clown. There ain't no difference, bro. Like sometimes along the way, people get lost because of addiction and shit like that. But most of the time, if you a clown right now, you're going to be a clown tomorrow. You're going to be a clown 10 years from now. And so you'll meet a lot of people who are clowns that are supposed to be OGs. Like I didn't go around in there calling people OGs just because they was older than me, because I clearly had more sense than them. I clearly moved in a more respectable way than them. But there was some people around that I could listen to and be like, okay, well, I feel like you're going to give me the right type of guidance. So you go in there, they'll give you a guidance. They'll help you make your bed. Like, hey, you need some hygiene, you know, this and that, whatever. I needed all that. Because like I said, my family at this point, I had no support. So it was just me by myself. No money, hungry as hell most of the time. And yeah, so that's just what it was. So I started learning about like how shit goes and shit like that, whatever, you know. But the most important thing about this time is this is when I began to work out. And I began to work out because one, you know, I had this stereotype in my mind that when people come out of prison, they come out with long hair, tattoos, and they buff. So I was like, I can at least start working out right now. And another thing is like, I need to be able to defend myself because I'm not finna be around here and I'm not finna be no victim. Like when I came in, I think I was like, a little before I came in, I was like 140 when I was like running the streets. And then I had got my weight up to like 160, something like that. But I have been, I eat the slop because a lot of people didn't eat the slop. It was terrible food. Anyway, I started working out. And when I started working out, I was terrible. I was super weak, couldn't do 2 pull-ups by myself. But as time progressed, I began to see and feel results. And when this began to happen, it began to help me find something to put my time into that was respectable and that would benefit me in the long run. And so I stuck with it and I just kept working out and I kept working out and I kept working out. And it was also a sense of relief. Like sometimes I would be working out and, you know, I push myself really hard on a set and I like tear up and I didn't understand why. But I knew when I did that, I just felt better. You know what I mean? So I use fitness as a way to help cope, to wrap my mind around my current circumstances, and to give myself something to look forward to. Because I was like, if I keep going right now, you know, when I get out, I could be in good shape. So I was working out, you know, listening to people, soaking up the game, paying attention. It's kind of uncomfortable at first because you're seeing people with a bunch of like Nazi tattoos and these type of tattoos, and you know that you feel like they hate you. And I'm just like, how are we supposed to coexist? Like, I used to see people like, why you talk to him? Like, he got this type of tattoo. Ooh. And they're like, you don't understand this. And I guess I didn't, you know? Or maybe I did understand, but they had become normalized to the process without being aware, which is the foundation of being institutionalized, which is something most people can't escape.